I'm Howlin Pelle Almqvist. I sing in this band, The Hives.
I'm Vigilante Carlstroem. I play the guitar.
I'm Chris, the drummer. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm glad you can make it down tonight. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks
I appreciate it. First off, right out of the gate, your shows are explosive. The energy is non-stop and it's always in your face and full throttle.
Thank you.
How do you maintain that? Where's the resource that feeds the well of this energy?
Beer and Mexican food.
At all times, the Mexican food. In the
I don't know, you know, maybe if you have Mexican food too close to the show, that's not a good idea. You kind of lose a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's just pretty much from, you know, you can feel like this is not going to work out. My body's broken. We had 12 shows in a row. I'm basically crawling on the floor. I got a cold. I got a fever. But as soon as you hit the stage and, you know, you hear the noise that the band makes and stuff, it's kind of like you never felt bad in your entire life.
Yeah.
And then you get through the show and then you feel great for 3 hours after the show and then you start to feel bad again. So basically we spend 20 hours of the day just kind of resting up, and then there's like a burst of energy on stage.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that, as well as the fact that you've been doing this for almost 20 years now. You know,
yeah.
As of next year, and there's a lot that's been said about that, and you know, excitement about the fact that you guys are making still the best music of your careers at this point in time.
It's pretty exciting for us too. Like I don't know that many bands that I still liked when they'd been around for 20 years. You know, there's AC/DC and the Ramones and the Cramps maybe, but
well,
I don't know many other ones.
It seems like there's a resurgence these days of bands who are trying to say, oh, we're going back to our roots with this record. You know, and it seems to be, whether it be a cop-out or something that is trying to be safer to appeal to the original fans again. There seems to be no real risk of that with you guys. There's a continued evolution, but, you know, a maintained thread of character.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to change enough, but not completely like go David Bowie and do something completely different. Like, because we like our band, that's our thing, you know. Yeah. And so you want to. It's a challenge, like whether to be AC/DC or David Bowie. Like, do you make the exact same record, or you make something completely different? And the answer is it's kind of a hard balance to strike. But I think we've been doing pretty good. Like with. Because you feel like you kind of follow an inner voice of sorts, like you know when it's right, you know. You know when it's what you want to put out next as your next album.
Yeah. Now, Vigilante, I have a question for you in terms of guitar. You guys did a couple bonus tracks with Josh Homme up in the valley, and those are some of my favorite tracks on the record. And there's there's a very different style to the rest of the songs on there. And was there any part of that experience for you, interacting with Josh, or whether it be just a part of the studio experience or what, that affected your playing?
No, I mean, those songs were covers.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way we just played the songs, you know, the way they sounded from the beginning.
But you make them your own.
Yeah, of course, but it's, you know, the style of playing or whatever, I don't even know, man.
Yeah.
I just play and that part, the guitars and that stuff, pretty much, you know, I guess we were more influenced by the original tracks than something else.
Yeah.
On those.
Well, you kind of, it sounds different, but he can kind of play any kind of guitar. But there is a Hives kind of guitar that we do most of the time, because that's kind of what we do. But
yeah.
I guess that's kind of more you know, playing 60s guitar or playing. It sounds different.
Right, and the sound is very different, but it's on the caliber of the rest of your record, which is something that is surprising when A, it's covers, and B, it has such a sort of vintage style, you know, to the sound. And
it's a way, I mean, we've been trying to play all kinds of tunes over these 20 years, and whatever we play kind of sounds, it still sounds like the Hives. I mean, we can play a 60s song, a 50s song, or
we can play Bryan Adams songs, it sounds like us.
Disco song that sound like the Hives.
So we're going to see some Bryan Adams in the set list, perhaps someday?
Well, I don't know on the set list, but you can hear that sound check possibly. No, you know, it's like you just kind of, get, after 20 years as a band, you have such a strong identity. It's like you can, if you want to, you can make anything sound like the Hives. Like that's how Johnny Cash kind of made records, that he would just like play a song until it sounded like Johnny Cash to him. Like you play it 100 times and you figure out a way to make it your own.
Yeah. In terms of making it your own, and this is actually for Chris, the idea of approaching a drum beat, or approaching, you know, the drum architecture for a song, and how you guys go about creating the song, how does that remain fresh for you after 20 years, you know, in sort of carrying that skeletal structure of the song?
I mean, it's as far as the rhythm go with this band, it's a lot of like easy beats. You know, it's not really complicated stuff if you listen to it, but we spend a lot of time like trying to figure out cool new ways of playing easy beats. So I guess it has a lot to do with that, and yeah, it changes a bit from every record, and it changes a bit for every song. But there's always, you know, it's kind of interesting trying to make, you know, Four on the Floor sound new in a way, and it's very interesting, and we love it when we actually manage to do it. Like there's a couple of beats that didn't end up on the record, but they're on some songs that we're hopefully gonna have finished for the next one. But some of those things are really cool, you know.
Yeah.
So it's always that, you know, you're just trying to make something new out of something very simple, and it's same thing with the drums as far as, you know, as like with the whole songs, you know, it's trying to make 3 chords sound fresh and good and interesting in a way.
Do you find yourself having to pull back a little bit when you're doing something in terms of keeping it sort of easy to you know, arrive at the ears and equally as powerful, but you tend to maybe want to complicate it sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, we try to play everything like a million different possible ways, you know. So, and that's the fun thing with it. It always takes kind of a while to get to where the finished sort of song that you get to hear, you know.
Yeah.
Everything, you know, from the demo leading to that. Some of the songs might sound, you know, in like almost completely different songs because we try so much stuff in between, but we always go back to like the little more in the background kind of beat with the rhythm.
Yeah.
Closer to the finished product that we get.
It's kind of, I think a thing people don't realize, that the simpler you play something, the louder it will be.
Mm.
You know, you can kind of mix, if you play drums super straight and simple, you can mix them really loud. If you're constantly doing fills and stuff, they'll kind of end up quieter.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can't listen to the line. It sounds like you're standing too close to the drummer otherwise.
Right.
And I think that's, you know, and people respond to simple beats. You know.
Definitely. I think that electronica has risen up in conjunction with that.
A proof of that, it's just a bass drum going
right.
boom, 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 boom. People just like, fuck yeah!
No, you mentioned before we started rolling, you were talking about how being, you know, high up on stage or far away from the fans sort of puts you at a little bit more of a disconnect from, you know, the experience when you're experiencing that live.
I like crawling around on people, you know.
How do you feel about the fact that you know, there's this new trend coming up where you have Coachella and Bonnaroo, where there's this VIP section that might be 30 or 50 feet long that separates the rest of the crowd from people?
Yeah, you know, I guess it's a way for festivals to make money, but it's pretty lame. It also, you feel, like we got, when we were at Coachella, you know, you get these passes, so that's where you see most of the bands.
Sure.
But it feels weird standing there in like some kind of, you know, VIP sections are, you know, the problem is that they kind of sometimes end up like a rich asshole ghetto, and you're kind of just, you know, you're in somebody's way constantly.
It probably started when bands didn't want the other bands on stage, you know, when they started with the oh, we don't want anyone up on stage, you know, looking at our band. So then we gotta get like a fucking VIP section in front of the stage. I don't really like it. But
yeah.
No. You know, whatever. That one's actually, it's kind of, at least it's off to the side. It's not like it's the first couple of rows.
Right.
But, you know, it's whatever, man. We'll just play wherever, whenever, to whoever.